Last Shabbat was a heavy one. The whole Jewish world was talking about anti-Semitism. The conversation was prompted by Bret Stephens' his address. But this Shabbat feels much lighter, despite the world. I don't know exactly why, but then it dawned on me, Adar is coming. And so I am not going to speak this Shabbat about the horrific school shooting in Tumbler Ridge. And I'm not going to speak about Minneapolis on fire with ICE. And I'm not going to speak about the many rabbis and Jewish protesters who came from across the United States to Washington, D.C. to demonstrate. And I'm not going to speak about the breathtaking courage of the Iranian uprising against the Islamic regime. I'm not going to speak about the shameful silence of much of the world's leadership and most of the human rights activists. I'm not going to speak about the Jewish gangsters in the West Bank who continue to attack Muslim civilians while law enforcement seems to have been instructed by Itamar Ben-Gvir, Minister of National Security, to look the other way. And I am certainly not going to speak about the endless string of Jewish names shamefully linked to the Epstein files. And I am not going to speak about my meeting this week with City Councilor Josh Matlow, debating about the relevance and the importance of bubble bylaws and legislation. And I'm not going to speak about the cold winter that drags on in Toronto. Why not? Because this Shabbat is Shabbat Mevarchim, when we bless the new month. Tomorrow we will sing Birkat HaChodesh for the month of Adar. And everyone knows that in the Mishnah, 2,000 years or more it was written, Misha nichnas Adar, when the month of Adar enters, marbim besimcha, our joy increases. Let it be so. Let it be so. And this is, of course, because the month of Adar is colored by the upcoming holiday of Purim. That's right. So what will I mention tonight to uplift our spirits and bring in a little more joy with Adar on its way? Let's talk about the Winter Olympics for a minute. Is anyone enjoying? Yeah, a little lift. So there are 18 Jewish and Israeli frozen chosen in Milan, competing in Milan. In addition to Jewish representation in skating and curling, I'll mention there was a strong showing in hockey. The goaltenders on the U.S. women's and the U.S. men's hockey teams are both Jewish. I didn't know that either. The Canadian women's goaltender is Jewish. Kale Osborne plays for the New York Sirens and has previously represented Canada at the Maccabi Games in Israel. Go Kale. And you may have heard about Israel's first ever Olympic bobsledding team. Yes. And you may also have heard that their apartment in Milan was broken into and passports and cash and valuable equipment were stolen. We don't exactly know why yet, but team founder and team captain A.J. Edelman says that they will get through this. And it is noteworthy that one of the team members of the four on the bobsledding team is named Farwasi, the first ever Druze athlete to compete in the Olympics. So we should be proud of his place on the Israeli team. And then there is the 35-year-old skeleton racer, Jared Firestone, who carried the flag of Israel in the opening ceremonies and wore a kippah that was stitched with the names of the 11 Israeli athletes and coaches murdered by Palestinian terrorists in the 1972 Munich Olympics. What about skating? I'm just giving a few noteworthy highlights. 3 Jewish athletes, skaters born in Hungary, a brother and sister now living and representing Israel, and another living in Thailand who makes his living as a veterinarian. A 4th Jewish skier skier, we're on skiing now, lives in the US, but is representing Austria at the Olympics after claiming citizenship based on evidence that she comes from a line of survivors who fled Austria at the time of the Shoah. And the fifth skier, named Vaspi, is Shomeret Shabbat and Israel's only para-Olympian to compete now in Milan. So let's keep an eye out for her, Shena Vaspi. So a little lift, a little joy from Jewish representation and Israeli representation at the Olympics. What else can bring a lift? What else can I tell you? I can mention Purim itself. Anytime between now and Purim, you can bring matanot le'evyonim. We're collecting toiletries for our out-of-the-cold guests. You can drop them by at the Janice Rotman Tzedakah Center, just at the entrance to the temple. And those will be put to good use. And then we have Sunday, March 1, bring children and grandchildren for our children's Purim spiel and celebration and carnival, which is going to be amazing. And then Monday evening, when Purim comes in, it's going to be a Western theme this year, so you can pick out your costume. And we thank representatives from YAD, our Young Adult Division, for writing the script and directing the spiel. It's entitled The Good, the Bad, and the Esther. And there's going to be a hootenanny and a professional square dancing caller, so come and have some fun. Misha nichnas adar marbim b'simcha. What else can I mention? A little joy comes through HB Travels. So Cantor Rosen and a number of you here have returned from a snowbird Shabbat in Florida. Welcome back. There's nothing like traveling together, making new friends along the way, and seeing the wide, wide world. So a Sunday morning, a number of us, fellow travelers, are making our way to a Jewish tour of Mexico City. So we hope to come back with good stories to tell about that unique Jewish story. And I invite you to see the very special itinerary for an upcoming trip to northern Israel this summer. 1 week in northern Israel to learn the unique stories that come from there and to see the natural beauty there. We have an info session coming up on Tuesday evening, February 24th. And there is also the intergenerational trip to Israel next winter break. So if you want to learn more about that, you can speak with Rabbi Bereshel or Rabbi Kay. So closer to home, what can I share with you about Holy Blossom Temple that will increase joy too? There are 3 significant milestones that I want to name. Yesterday, we became a congregation, once again, made up of 2,000 households. And there have been many proud moments over the last number of years when I felt that we were reaching significant qualitative milestones, when I felt that things were really right here, and I felt confident that we could advance and dream and pursue and aspire. But I admit that 2,000 households was always in my mind a quantitative goal that would signal that we were whole again, and now we have crossed that threshold, and it gives us reason to celebrate and reason to believe that the Jewish future is bright. And I know it's only a number, and actually we broke the record today. I'm told, Rabbi Bereshel tells me we're already at 2,001 households. So that's already old news. But I do want to use the occasion to pause for a moment to reflect on how far we've come and to welcome those who have come and made us stronger, and to remember the many disruptions that leadership of the congregation saw us through, like the major construction project, a global pandemic, and October 7th and its many aftershocks. So at a time when many seem to be telling us to hide our Jewish identity, when many of our children feel that they should downplay who they are, instead, people are saying loud and proud, count me in at Holy Blossom Temple, and count me in for the Jewish future. So that is worthy of celebration. A second milestone is that we will soon celebrate cantorial soloist Lindy Rivers' 20th year with Holy Blossom Temple. So please be sure to come for that special Kabbalat Shabbat service and congregational Shabbat dinner in her honor. That will be the last Shabbat of March 27, and registration is required for that meal, so please don't hesitate. And the third milestone I want to highlight, it may seem far off, but May 11th is going to be here before we know it. Soon we will celebrate Holy Blossom Temple's 170th anniversary. We are the first synagogue of the city of Toronto, founded in 1856, and so it is time to celebrate. And that evening, there will be a fabulous North of Broadway concert, led by Cantor Rosen, of course. And that night, we will also reveal a series of announcements about the future of Jewish education for our growing congregation. We are investing in our children and in lifelong learning because we believe these are the keys to the Jewish future. So I hope this has reminded you that Adar is coming, and there is reason to rejoice, there is reason for uplift, there is reason to plan for celebration, and reason to be grateful too. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Aleinu l'shabeach, page 139.